Welcome back, everybody. Kathy Arbor here, and today we're going to be doing a very simple illustration of me gardening, basically, is what it's going to be. It could be anybody, though. And it's going to be very, very simple. I've already drawn it out, and anyone can do this. If you're not comfortable with drawing a person, you can actually trace one. Find one in a magazine or on the internet and just trace around the outside edge. That's what we're going to be doing. I'll show you in a minute. Just a little bit of what we did last week, I believe it was. And I think we did this last week, the third. Yeah, it was this mermaid, and this drawing for the mermaid is available for all members on Patreon and YouTube, and it's for all levels. So you can check that out if you're interested. And the join button down below. I will put the other links in after this stream is done. And then this is what we did on Thursday. So we actually did the week before were these cute faces. So we basically just use watercolor. You could use acrylic paint too. And we made a splotch and then made these faces out of them. So they're just made up faces. So anyone can do these. And then I cut them out and we made them into characters. Hey, Lori, good to see you. These were a lot of fun. And I got this idea from Janet Young. And she got this book. And this is a kid's book, but it's fantastic to get your imagination going. So it's all about how to draw monsters, creatures, whatever you want to call them. And they're using numbers to start off with, or the alphabet. So here's, for instance, the number 3, and it gives you the stages of drawing them, and that's what you end up with. So these are really fun to do, and Janet's done a bunch of them, and I love how she's done hers. She made a story up, who they are, where they work, everything. It was great. So check out Janet Young. And I want to try some of these. I think they're so funny. I have seen, if you can go on Pinterest or I believe Google would have them too, alphabet monsters. Look them up. There's some fantastic monsters you can make up. Well, when I saw this book, I had to get it, of course. And so they're cartoonish type monsters. And then I thought, well, you know, when you're on Amazon, you run across all kinds of books. So then I saw this other book from this illustrator called Unnatural Selections. I thought this was brilliant. I loved it. And it's watercolor also. So he illustrates children's books. And he's got quite a few books, but this one in particular I really, really loved just because of his imagination. So like they're just gorgeous. So I thought this was really fun, and it gives you another resource to get your imagination going. And he actually put a little story behind it. And what I love about it is that he's put it into a full picture. So there's a story behind it. So if this is a whale-elephant, and he's jumping out of the water. So I love that they've added different things. Crocodile. So he's actually, I love this. He's got a little frog that's part skunk. So you look at it, his backgrounds, and you see there's a little mouse lizard. They're so cute. But great way of getting ideas. Tortoise and giraffe. And I like this too, the way he thinks. So you can make up any animal and not bother thinking, is it capable of moving properly? So naturally, a tortoise and a giraffe are complete opposites. But he fixes the way he would move around by adding the balloon tied to the tail to keep his rear end up. I love this. This is cute too. Cowaconda. I love this. So he's actually, this is cute. A part walrus and part koala bear, and a fox, duck, and a dog with a horse head. These are so cute. Catfish, of course. And look at this, a little, what do you call these? Looks like a snail shell, but with a crocodile coming out of it. There's a cowfish. A rhinoceros. A rhinoceros. That's cute. A bird with a goat head. Part crow and zebra. Like I love his T-Rex and rabbit. Tyrannosaurus Rex. That's cute. But just the little things he adds to them. That's what makes this picture. And he puts a black and white on this side here, but he puts them in action on the other side. So that's cute. Carpentula. Carpentelope. So yeah, really have to pay attention. There's actually designs in the wood even that he's put here. I thought this was cute. So anyways, I got that book for inspiration. This is a used one. So look them up. I think you'll get some fantastic ideas out of it. All right, so I thought today we could do, where did I put it now? Okay, this, I'm not going to do it in my book here. I want it a little bigger, and then I'm going to make a photocopy. So I already made one up, and I'm using the Bristol paper. I really like this Bristol paper for watercolor. But this time I'm going to do a little bit of both. I'm going to do watercolor, and I'm going to do some gouache. So this is what we're going to be doing. And this is for beginners. Anyone can do this. So as you can see, I made an outline of a lady. I'm going to have it as me with a box of flowers. And this is going to be very, very simple. So more of the flat, illustrative type of art. So there's not a whole lot of detail. It's very flat. So there's different ways you can use your watercolor and your gouache. It doesn't have to be very detailed all the time, depending on the different styles that you like. And this style in particular is a very flat 2D illustrative style. And a lot of what's that paper company that puts out the book from the Netherlands? It's all about the paper. Flow. Their illustrations are very, very flat and 2D looking. Most of them are in this way. If you could actually add shadows and stuff like that in this if you wanted to, but I'm going to show you just a very simple, beginner easy way of doing an illustration. I did not draw this by hand. I got a picture and I traced the form, changed it up a little bit, but initially just drew the outside lines of the form. And you can do that. Just find a figure that you like on Pinterest or on the internet somewhere or in a book. Google has all kinds if you want to actually type in line drawing form, figure drawings, or you could even state what it's doing and it'll give you all kinds of different types of forms. So this is going to be very quick because we're going to use just watercolor here and a bit of gouache. So I have already some orange and a bit of Indian yellow, I believe, and I'm just going to mix those two together just to get a skin color. You can pick the skin color that you want. And I'm not even going to worry about the lines here. The skin color is going to be done in watercolor, and then the hair and her top will be in a gouache color. Just don't go outside the lines around the body in the negative space. Her hands, they could be gloves or you could make them into hands. I'm going to just do hands, very simple. Her wrists. These are really fun to do for your daily diary type of thing. It could indicate what you did that day. This way you can use these figures and not worry about having to draw them from a picture. You're tracing them, so they're much easier to use for your own whatever you want to use it in. So we can also, I have a bunch of green here, so I'm just going to mix them together. And we'll use some of these for the background. And I'm going to put some of these darker, some of them lighter. I'm going to mix them up. Just use different shades of green for all these plants in this tub. I'm going to do these ones in gouache. Let me bring you guys in a little bit. And this is just a, what is it? Silver black velvet. It's a number 4. So just have fun with it. You can make it up whatever color you want to do. Maybe you want to use certain colors for the plants that you were planting. I think I'm going to give it a gray. I have gray, kind of a dark gray flower pots. Actually, I think I'll do that in gouache. But I will add a little bit of this orangey color to that dark. It'll give me a nice dark brown for some of the dirt in here. Okay. My shoes, I guess you could say, because this is going to be simple, similar. This is going to be me, what I did last weekend. So I was in the garden. So my shoes were also kind of a brown color. So I'm just going to put those in. So these are simple. And then you could either cut them out, you could photocopy them, shrink them down. That's what I'm going to do. All right, and okay, so I'm going to make this hand part here a little bit darker. Just so that it shows different. So, because I have it next to the other one, and it'd be a little bit darker. So that's the only basically shadowing you're gonna probably do with this one. Now I could actually just put her eye in and her ear a little bit darker in there. But other than that, that's all you need for that. These are fun to do. Now, I have some gouache. I don't use a lot of gouache. I only have very minimal color selection here. So this is a Winsor Newton gouache. Okay, it's stuck. To rip it open. Oh, it's stuck. Must be taped. Here. So gouache you don't want to put with your watercolors. Even though this is water soluble one, just in case you start using one with acrylic instead of the water soluble one, it's not good to mix these and end up with a real mess and damaging your watercolor. So I'm just going to use this tray here. This is a little bit of blue. This one is primary blue. And I have some black. I'm going to use some black also. Oh, that's why. Just a smidgen of that. Just have a and let's see, white. I think I got white here. Yep. Actually, I have one already opened, so I'll use that. So blue, white. What other colors do we? Maybe some green. And a little bit of yellow. I'm just putting the yellow on the opposite side. These were, so you can see, there. All right, so let's make up, I'm going to take some of this green here, put it over here. Hey, Kim. That's me. You were gardening too? Then we're going to add some white and a little bit of yellow. And I'm going to make a really nice light green. A little bit of water. A little bit more white there. I want it really light. Hey, Tori. And we're going to just, this is one big leaf here. Now, depending on how much water you put in your gouache or on your brush will depend how opaque your gouache will be. So if you want a really opaque, then use it straight without diluting it in any water. You've had lots of rain. We need rain here. It's been terribly dry. So I'm gonna just add a little bit more white to this, and I can go right over top of this gouache because it's water soluble. So it's actually going to mix right in on top of the paper with the last layer. So it depends on what you're wanting as far as when you're painting like this. So if you really like the color you just put down, then you're not going to want to paint too much over top of it because it will change the color. I'm just going to try and get rid of those lines. Like that. And then maybe make this a little different, a little more stronger, I think. It's fun to mix too, to see what you get. So let's add a little bit of blue to that, blue it up a bit. Let's see what we get. And let's do these flower leaves right here. So even though I've gone over the lines, the gouache is opaque enough, it's going to cover those areas. So that's a nice thing too when you're working with gouache and watercolor. So like I said, this is a very flat 2D type of illustration. Very simple to do. So all I've done is trace around the figure from a book, magazine, you can download, whatever, wherever you found it. Just trace the outer edge and use that as your form. And let's see, I'm going to put, let's just use the straight green. And then I can make the stems. I'm going to make those this dark green. Oh, I have one more at the back there to do. And let's do that a nice dark green too. This one here. I'm going to go around the watering can spout. It's nice to have a really fine tipped brush when you're doing something this small. Just take your time, enjoy it. And I'm gonna just put some of this as leaves also. And maybe this in here as leaves along the edge. So just dot. Take some of the other color and throw that in there too. Just dot it so it looks like a little leaves. Hey, Lisa. Now, flowers. Let's do them yellow, I think. Yeah. or a soft blue, maybe a soft blue. Do the inside. And I'm not going to worry about the center because this is gouache, so I can just go back in afterwards and put the yellow centers in right on top of the gouache. And remember, you're not worrying about shadows and stuff like that in this style of illustration. It's very minimal. For those that like the flow journals and paper, that's what this style is. It's very flat looking. It's very easy and simple to do. Anyone can do this. And it's great for using in your daily journals. Now with the one behind here, I'm going to make it a little darker just so that it stands out from the other ones. Like that. Who doesn't mind a bit of a mess? Tried my first watercolor painting today. Was a bit of a mess, so need lots of practice. That's all right. Like Tori said, who doesn't mind a little mess? That's how we learn. Can't learn unless you have mistakes or messes, right? So just play. All right, I'm going to give this watering can a nice bright yellow. I'm going to add a little bit of white to it though. And remember, we are not concentrating on any kind of shadows because this is a minimal illustration of flat 2D. That you see a lot of nowadays, actually. So if you got some pictures or magazine clippings of people doing certain things, and you've been considering painting them, but you're a little uneasy about drawing them, try it this way. So you trace them. Trace around the outer edge of them and then paint them up this way. So the only, basically the only shading that we would do would be if, like this hand here, the one behind it would be just a tad darker. But we're not worrying about shading them so it looks rounded or anything like that. Hey, Carol. And I take that, I put a little black out here. And that, I think I'm going to add a little bit of white to this. I want this a little bit more of a lighter color. That. And then a little bit more white in there. And this is going to be my flower box color. My flower boxes are kind of a gray color. Now I'm going to go right over these leaves I did, because I can paint them back over again. So when you start playing with this type of painting, it helps you with your, what would you say, being more sure of yourself, giving yourself courage to try other things. So when you see how easy this is, and just do it in your sketchbook. Watercolor. Oh yes, very. Yeah, every medium has its different ways of doing things. Let's put the centers in now of my flowers. So and then I'm going to put a little bit of this green here. And I have the center rib line. That's about the only detail I'm going to do with these leaves. And we can put more of those. I'll wait till it's dry so we don't move it too much. All right, so I'm gonna wear blue jeans. So let's take some more of this blue here. A little bit of white to it. And a smidge of black. Make it darker. And these are going to be my blue jeans. And I'm not going to put a whole lot of detail. Very little. So this is the behind leg, so the opposite leg. So it's going to be a little darker just to show that it's on the other side. So you just keep it simple. Huh? And then I'm going to add some white to that just to lighten it up. And that'll be this side. So it's not a lot lighter, just a bit, maybe 1 or 2 shades lighter. Just enough to show that this is the front leg that's closest to you. Now, if you don't have gouache, you could do this with acrylic paint too. So don't feel like you have to go out and buy a bunch of gouache. What you can do too, if you want to try gouache, just get 6 colors, your primary colors, and then you can mix them. You can also just buy a big tube of white and use your watercolor to mix your colors also. I've done that quite a few times. Because, you know, trying out all these new things can be a little bit expensive, especially if you're not quite sure whether you're going to like it. All right. And now, color top do we want? I think I'm going to use the red too. So let's give her a red top with I don't know, a design on her maybe. Or burgundy top. No, I like red. I'm a red person, but I'd like a little bit of blue in it. So I'm going to take a little of this blue, mix it. So what have you all been doing? Have you been out in the garden? I know a lot of you had some major rain. Some people got some flooding. We haven't had rain. I wish we did have some rain. Things are pretty dry here. But it is what it is. Guess we're never really truly happy. It's always something we're going to complain about, right? Now this is not quite thick, so I'm going to thicken it up a little bit because I'm getting a lot of streaks. If you want a really opaque, you need to use less water. I do like using this Bristol though. Loads of rain here Friday and Saturday. Hey, Ray. Pastels are great. You can use pastels with your watercolor too. Let's make some more blue with this. More of a purpley color. And I'm going to make that over here. The other side of her body is going to be a little darker. So we'll do that in the purple, kind of a purpley blue. There is a little bit of a gap between the arms. I'm going to make her shoes a little darker. Maybe this gray here. That. Okay, and hair, I got gray hair, so not totally white yet. It is a little gray. Let's do gray. My fingers are... My hair is long, and I usually have it in a ponytail when I'm gardening. And it's curly. I do have glasses, so I'm going to put glasses on. That. Okay. So let's dry what we have here. And then we'll just put a few details, not a lot. All right. Now you can use your same brush if you want, or if you don't want to use, this type of thing, you could use Poscas or fine liners, that type of thing, colored pencil, because this is a fairly matte finish. So colored pencils actually work really well on this. So maybe I'll use that. So I'm going to put in a lighter color of blue for, let's see, a grayish blue for the pockets. And so I don't want it to stand out though, but I do want to put the line in. It depends how much you want to have things stand out. Could clean up some of these flower edges a little bit, maybe. We could put a little bit of green on the wood now. It'll stand out a little better. Put some small leaves on the flowers. That. Now let's do some, let's see, I think I'm going to give her white polka dots maybe on her shirt. Just dipping my brush line in there. So the larger ones would be closest to you, and then as you go back, just put those smaller ones in along the edge. And we need a few small ones in here. Like that. And a few lines where the creases in your pants. And I'm going to put, let's see, it's cool. I don't want that. Just in her eyebrow there. Oh, I was going to put glasses. That's right. I think I'll put a headband right here, or thing to hold my hair. And a little bit darker there under the shoe. I have to keep telling myself, no more detail. A light gray. For pattern on my, I have this pattern on the window box. Like this. Here. Like so. And I was going to put glasses. So glasses, because of the side profile. I'll do it in pencil first. You're going to see the arm. Glasses would kind of be like that. So just a black, I think. Like that. Not much. Very simple. There. It's very, very, very simple, but it gets the point across. So you can scale those down, do whatever you want with them. So there's very little detail, but it tells a story. So a lot of times you don't need a lot of detail, especially if you're a beginner. If you can start off by doing this type, you're going to get a whole lot more confidence and then try out a little more as you go. So don't try something really difficult, because more than likely it's not going to turn out the way you want. And that's what causes a lot of people to give up right away. So try something simple. It still looks great, gets the point across, you know what it is, and it was very simple to do. So line drawing traced from a book or magazine, or print something out. Just find the position of the body you want to do, and that applies with faces too. If you don't want to draw the face out but you want to paint it, try that first. All right, so what I'm gonna do with these are make them smaller, and then I use them in my daily journal. So this is a daily journal. So see. And I just do all kinds of stuff in them. So you draw, or a lot of these are just cutouts. My grandkids' work. And I just use them in my daily journal. So you could do all kinds of different situations or emotions, and that's all you need. And then sometimes you don't even have to write anything. You know that's what it's all about. So I'm going to let you go for now, and we will see you on Thursday, and we will be doing an acrylic painting, and I will have a traceable ready for you. to play along. So I hope to see you then. And get out, enjoy the weather, and do a little bit of gardening or whatever, walking. And bring your sketchbook with you and see what you can start sketching. I want to do some more sketching, and I think that's what I will be doing on this channel also, is showing you how to sketch certain things, and then we'll be painting them. All right, so have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on Thursday. Bye for now.